Hello, everybody, and welcome back to EduPassions. So thank you for joining us again. It is now 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we have here with us the dynamic, the awesome, the excellent Lisa Dabbs. So welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you
Thank,
today?
thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. It is my honor to be here with all of you. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the day, but I feel very honored that I was selected to share today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And we are very excited to have you here with us and looking forward to your presentation. So while she's pulling up her presentation right now, I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about Lisa. Lisa has an extensive educational background, having worked as a school principal, federal project director, and teacher. She holds a BA in child development and an MED in educational administration. Lisa is active in her community and serves as a VP of her town's literacy nonprofit. Lisa is an educational and social media consultant, author, blogger, podcaster, and speaker. Lisa's passion to support and mentor new and pre-service teachers led her to found New Teacher Chat, hashtag NTChat, on Twitter. This chat was founded in 2010 and just celebrated a 6-year anniversary. She is now the host of her own hashtag NTChat radio show. You can listen to her on iTunes and subscribe at bit.ly/NT Chat Radio. Lisa's work is varied and spirited. She's a resident blogger at edutopia.org and has served as part of Edutopia's social media team and recently as the CA community manager at Remind. Lisa is currently part of the social media team at Amazon 10 Marks and an Amazon education thought leader. She's also an adjunct professor at the University of La Verne working with pre-service teachers. Lisa is a published author with Corwin Publishing. Her book, Standing in the Gap, Empowering New Teachers Through Connected Resources, is part of the Connected Educator series. Her work on hashtag NTChat is what inspired the book. She recently joined the Hack Learning team, and her second book will be published with them in fall 2016. So you can find her on Twitter at TeachWithSoul, as well as on her website, lisadabbs.com. So it's with great pleasure that we turn it over right now to Lisa.
Thank you, Sarah, so much. And catch your breath, right? That's a long introduction. But friends, thank you so much. I feel very honored that Sarah and Shelley selected me to share my passion today at our EduPassions conference. And you know, like with so many of us who have a passion, we could go on for hours. So I want to make sure that I'm succinct and I stay within my timeline so that if there are a few questions afterwards that we have time to do that. But you can see that my passion is to empower new teachers to thrive. And I share that, friends, because frequently on Twitter I see helping new teachers survive. Let's help new teachers survive. And you know what, friends? I need to tell you that word is not in my vocabulary. It's not in the vocabulary for my work, and it's never in the vocabulary for new teachers and pre-service teachers that I serve. So you can see this is me here with one of my recent classes at the University of La Verne, and I tell them the same thing that I'm sharing today. I want what I do with you, which is teaching math for young children, to thrive. I want you to take the concepts that I share to be able to thrive in your work as you teach mathematics to young children. So today we're going to talk a little bit about my story of how I came to develop my passion and give you 5 tips to support yourself if you're a new teacher or pre-service teacher, or if you're helping a new or pre-service teacher. So thank you so much for joining me today. So I want to set the stage for this brief time that we have for learning and collaboration. And you know, pre-service teachers love to explain things, and I love the way one of my teachers was explaining a lesson she was doing on the Hungry Caterpillar and tying it to mathematics. And this is the thing. We need to give new teachers a voice, and we need to give pre-service teachers a voice. And what I find, friends, is that we're not doing a good enough job in that area. So in my work that you're going to hear about in a few minutes, I found that the voices of new teachers were silenced, or the voices of new teachers were not there. And friends, even to this day, there are still very few new and pre-service teachers on Twitter when you look at in comparison to those of us who are experienced. So because this is a passion place and a place where there's EduPassions, know that inspiring, mentoring, and equipping teachers is at the heartbeat of my work. And I developed that heartbeat for my work back in the years that I spent as a principal. Because who am I? I am your virtual mentor. I am a consultant, a speaker, an adjunct professor, as Shara shared. But more than that, I want to be your virtual mentor. I want to be someone that new and pre-service teachers and those that serve new and pre-service teachers can come to or can seek resources from and can be able to grow their work as they begin to support new and pre-service teachers. And or if you are a new or pre-service teacher, I want to be able to do everything I can to support you, especially on the hashtag #PoundNTChat. So because my passion is to support and mentor new teachers, as Sarah shared, I began the chat, and I'm going to tell you a little story about that in a minute. And when I did that, I was asked by Corwin to write a book about how new teachers might be able to connect. And so I took, at that point, the 5 years that I had spent running New Teacher Chat virtually all by myself, which is okay, and I put a lot of those ideas into this book. So you can find it at lisadabbs.com. It's called Standing in the Gap. And friends, when you look at the history of the word standing in the gap, it is biblical, but it means that we stand in the way or in the gap for others or for those that can't do it for themselves. And think about it. New and pre-service teachers need all of us to consistently stand in the gap for them. So what is your calling? And when is the last time you considered it? So I asked this question of my new and pre-service teachers, and particularly my pre-service teachers, as they work with me. Because I say to them, and you're going to laugh, I say, if you do not want to share your passion to teach and it is not your calling, you need to go sell shoes at Nordstrom. And that always gets a laugh, right? But it's true, friends. How many of you have considered your passions lately? How many have looked at why you were called? What happens to our community of teachers that start out bright and beautiful and end up bailing? And we know that within 3 to 5 years, new and pre-service, new teachers leave the profession. So what are we doing to be able to support them around the idea of what our calling is and the last time that we've considered it? So I want you to be able to know that my work around my passion is to connect new and pre-service teachers to thrive and to build their classroom. And as a result, I've taken social media and used the power of social media and infused it into my work with new and pre-service teachers as a speaker, as a writer, and as a blogger, and as an adjunct professor. And it's important, however, that we support new teachers to do this because, as I shared earlier, there's very few of them that are in these spaces, and if they are, friends, oftentimes they're lurking. So how do we support them to connect and thrive? How do we do that so that they can be the best that they want to be when they finally are in their own classrooms, developing their own work, working with high school kids, preschool kids, elementary school kids? How do we do that? Well, I say that it begins with a tweet. So my story is that in 2009, I had been on Twitter since January, and in the fall of 2009, I came onto Twitter again after having left a consultancy with Kaplan Educational Corporation. And this beautiful woman here that you see in this picture with me at my birthday celebration last year here in California was Shelly Terrell. And she tweeted out a question, and she asked, are there any principals out there who could answer this question that I have from a teacher? And I said to myself, well, I used to be a principal. I think I'll just answer this lady's question. And friends, that's how my connection and my ability to thrive started. It began with a tweet. It began with a tweet that Shelly Terrell shared back in 2009. And the rest is history. And the history and the story behind that, friends, in developing my chat is that Shelly met with me when she still lived in Germany, and she met with me for 4 hours one day because I asked her a question. Is there a chat for new teachers? You are part of the tremendous team that developed EdChat, and I want to develop a chat for new teachers, but not if there was one around. And she said, Lisa, there isn't. So she spent 4 hours with me, friends, as I shared all my ideas with her. And I said, I want my chat to be perfect. I want it to be sustainable, and I want it to be long-standing, and I want it to be practitioner-focused. So think about the power of starting something with a tweet, because that's how New Teacher Chat began. So I developed New Teacher Chat and have developed communities around the chat, and the chat, friends, is practitioner-focused and supported. That is my passion, to make sure that my chat is one that is easy for teachers to jump into and easy for them to participate in. So I see my time is running away, so I need to be quick in doing that. But know that in sharing more things, know that at the end, I've developed a couple of resources, resource links with all of these areas. So you can see that I've had the communities that I shared earlier. There is a Facebook place for new teachers to connect. And here's something that's very important to me, friends, that I want you to know about. I developed a new teacher mentoring project. And the project is providing a mentor that a new or pre-service teacher can connect with from anywhere around the world or around the United States. Those are the links to it. I'll share them later. But it is a huge passion piece for me in the work that I do around New Teacher Chat. And I'll tell you that I was just recently interviewed by EdSurge, and I look forward to that article coming out soon about the power of virtual mentoring to support new and pre-service teachers. Without it, friends, I just don't think they'll be successful. So there's a link there as well. If you're an experienced teacher and you want to become a mentor, you'll be able to check that out there and in the resource links that I share later. But I want to share quickly in the next 4 minutes 3 things about 5 important areas that you can do as a new teacher, or ideas if you're supporting a new teacher that you might want to do with them. So let's look at these very quickly. 3 things you could do to prepare for the first day. So you might think that new teachers are going to be ready for this, but friends, frequently they're not. So here's 3 simple things they can do. Organize their classroom, prepare a letter in Google Docs to give to parents, and have at least the first week lesson plans ready. Simple enough, but not always available. So let's make sure we support them to do that. And if you're a new teacher here joining me today, I hope that you've done that and you're getting ready to execute that as you go back to school. What are 3 things you could do to get to know your students? We talk about student voice, and it's as important as a new teacher or pre-service teacher's voice, right? So we want to be able to memorize their names. Think about taking some photos of them to share on a collage, and then invite them or their parents to chat before back to school night. Let's begin to build relationships, friends, with them. Relationships matter. We know this. It's important. And here's just 3 quick ideas to do that. What are 3 things you could do to support a positive classroom culture? I don't always like that kind of negative word, classroom management, but friends, it's a fact of the matter. We need to develop classroom culture that's positive. So what are 3 ideas that you could do? Set up a daily morning meeting, and in the link that I'll share later, it tells you how to do that. Involve the students in the discussion about how they want to see the culture of their classroom. Don't be the sage on the stage, the teacher that sets out all the rules, 5 or 10 rules, and then your students are having to maneuver through that. Involve them, let them be a part of that discussion, and then set a few meaningful guidelines with them that will be successful so that you are working as a team, even from the early stages, to make sure your classroom interactions are successful. And how is your class designed? You know, we're talking a lot about classroom design, but new and pre-service teachers might not really have a good sense of it. Do we want to be like the image on the left in the cemetery style classroom that my good friend Aaron Klein talks about? Support our new and pre-service teachers to know about flexible seating and how that can work. This is important, friends. Let's make sure that we do that. Let's make sure that we support them to see that there are options and how they can do that, even on a limited budget. What are 3 things that we could do to support a collaboration with parents? Let's not make the mistake, as my good friend Shelly Terrell talks about in a podcast she did with me on supporting new teachers with parents, where we don't reach out to our parents early and then something comes up and it's a disaster. So prepare a letter, an email, a video, a call home to parents. It might feel uncomfortable, but it's going to set the stage for building the relationship with that parent, and it's going to make a difference. Set up classroom visits and use social media as an outlet. Maybe use Seesaw. Maybe use Facebook. Set up a Facebook page for your classroom that's private, only for your parents. And then think about using a text message app like Remind to connect with them, or Blooms. My favorite is Remind, so that's why it's here. But these are 3 simple things that you can do right away using the power of social media to connect parents to what you're doing in the classroom so that they will feel that they are included. And then 3 things that you need to do to take care of yourself. let's not forget about ourselves. Our bodies are vessels for the passion that houses inside them. And if we don't take care of those bodies, we are not going to be able to be the vibrant teachers that we want to be. So I want you to consider, if you're a new and pre-service teacher, or if you're supporting them, help yourself to set clear boundaries on your time. Learn to say no. I know that as a former principal, my new teachers wanted to volunteer for everything. And I would have to say, no, you can't do that. You need to stop. And then lastly, friends, we're learning so much now about the power of eating clean, drinking a lot of water, walking, and even meditating. And I don't want you to think about meditating as this kind of woo-woo thing. If you go onto edutopia.org and you click on meditation there in their search engine, you're going to find about the power of meditation that's being used, friends, actually in schools. But the power of meditating for us, even 5 to 10 minutes every day, can support us and support you as the new and pre-service teacher to be healthy, strong, and vibrant. How are you preparing to teach in the 21st century? How are you preparing to make sure that you are teaching in a way that is engaging your students and allowing for student voice? Because so many of us know these instruments, these tools are banned. But this is the way that students are learning, right? Even as far down as the elementary school, the teacher said, now you may take notes, and boom, out come the devices. So how are we supporting those of you that experience teachers, new teachers, to stay on top of the 21st century skills? And if you're a newer pre-service teacher, what can we do to support you to get there? Because we need to provide our students with the teaching and learning opportunities to become connected citizens. And that's your job in the classroom. And as a new and pre-service teacher, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be worth it. And then lastly, this quote by Jo Boaler, I am going to read it. A lot of scientific evidence suggests that the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the brains they were born with, but their approach to life, the messages they receive about their potential, and the opportunities they have to learn. If you don't know about Jo Boaler, I want you to check her out. She has written an amazing book called Math Mindset. But isn't this true, friends? I believe that it's true, and I wanted to end my presentation and my Edging Passion presentation by sharing it with you. You can connect with me on many spaces in social media, but if you check out the links below, lisadabbs.com/DWE uppercase O, you'll find resources to everything I shared today, or you can check out my elink.io, which I'll be tweeting out in a little bit. And you can also see the same resources shared in a really exciting and vibrant way.
Thank you so much. And we had some really, really great comments. I know that Judy had said mentors like is from given a new birth to me, and he says many attempt to motivate teachers says newly joined fresh on the contract, and what are some techniques to help students?
Shelly, I couldn't hear you. You're breaking up.
Sorry. So he wants to know teachers how the simplest kind of tips to get them to grow closer and develop relationships with their students.
Oh, okay. I think that one of the things that's really important, Shelly, is that we need to give time to hear the student voice. And this is why I could speak for an hour at least about the morning meeting. So one of the simplest strategies that I would say, without going into greater detail, is to think about using the power of the morning meeting. And I share a link in the resources there about using the morning meeting. The morning meeting is a way that you can sit down with your students every morning for 5 or 10 minutes. You present an agenda for the day, and you talk about things that matter to the students. And they have opportunities to put things on the agenda, even as young as, say, kindergarten. And as you sit around, you take time to answer some of those questions that they have dialogue between one another. And it can be as simple as, you know, Johnny always steals the potato chips out of my backpack. So, I mean, this is something that matters to our kids, right? So by doing the morning meeting model, it is one of the most powerful ways to build relationships. And that's the number one thing that I would suggest that all teachers begin to use in their classrooms. It's really powerful.
And then there was a comment by Judy that says, yes, it's definitely about balance. Do you have any tips for teachers to stay more focused and balanced? I know you already shared some general tips, but maybe some last tips before we go.
Yes, I think, Shelley, the most important thing is, and you know you and I have talked about this, but we're going to get trapped, let's say as a new teacher, into grabbing the Diet Coke, grabbing the potato chips, grabbing the donuts in the staff room. So my biggest tip that I could say is bring a bottle of water. Bring a bottle of water with you every day and a little baggie, right, with healthy snacks. Almonds. I mean, I could go on forever about this, Shelley. You know this. Almonds, gluten-free chips, walnuts, carrots. Okay, it seems like a simple action, but new teachers begin to kind of fall off the vine in December because they're so exhausted. If you take the time to buy those ahead of time, little baggies of walnuts, little baggies of carrots, and your water, you're going to be so much better off, because the idea or the thought to grab the donut, you'll say, I have those almonds in my classroom, I better try that first. And it'll really be helpful and supportive to your health, which you need to sustain to be an amazing teacher.
I thank you so much. And you say that while I have my donut here. So guilty.
Yes, guilty as charged.
Well, thank you so much. You have been really wonderful, and you have so many praises in the chat box, so definitely go visit back, and thank you so much for being such an inspiration to us.
Oh, I will, and I'm going to tweet out those two links, Shelley, the two different ones, the ones with the Google Doc resource, as well as the elink.io resource. And thank you, everybody, so much for being here, and thank you, Shelley, to you and Sarah again for allowing me to share my passion.